So basically, your boy Gohan and Trunks, they're training rigorously, as I tried to explain to the best of my abilities in the last part. So basically, Trunks and Gohan, they're going at it, right? They good hands. And this is around the 6-month period. And Gohan, this is code. Gohan is talking about his war stories. Man, Trunks, man, let me tell you, man, like it becomes relevant. Because I'm like, damn, you got your own war story. And Trunks is like, what do you mean, Trunks? I'm not as cool as you, Master. I'm like, no, man, think about it. You're a survivor in an apocalyptic world, and you're dying to protect people. And he's like, yeah, but wait, you're right. And so, think about it. You don't got your dad. You don't have any friends. Everyone died before, before you could, do anything with them. You got your own war story. If I pass, you're gonna be the lone survivor. Like he was just talking about, like, you got your own story, my boy. He's like, yo, wait, Gohan, what is your war story? He's like, well, shit, I got a couple. Well, I don't know how much your mom's told you about your dad. She's like, wait, you know about my dad? Like he knows, but he doesn't know. He's like, yeah, your dad actually tried to kill us a couple of times. And Trunks is like, what? Oh my God, for real? Yeah. And then he would have like a whole monologue about the Saiyan saga and like how he got abducted by Piccolo, but then there was this guy named Raditz that was apparently his uncle. Then he had to fight Nappa, but he was way too scared. He ran away. Then how Goku came, saved the day. And then after Goku saved the day, Krillin, one of his friends named Krillin, and him and Krillin had to go back to help Goku. Krillin threw a spirit bomb. Apparently Gohan turned into a great ape. Like, he's just going on. He's like, it didn't even end there. We got to get now. He don't say these exact words, but he's like, we haven't even gotten into the Frieza saga. And he's talking about like how, Frieza was just like this tyrannic dictator, and he would go on about the whole story of everything that transpired on there, talking about how Vegeta was trying to get immortality, how he gut sucker punched me, and this and this and that, and it's just so much pain, okay? Like, he's just talking about all of this shit that happened. Then he briefly talks about how right before the androids attacked, I wanted to get stronger. Even though it's not canon, I'll probably make it maybe canon. No, I'm not gonna do that. He's talking about like how, he didn't like how he felt on Namek, how he basically just felt useless and had to wait for his dad. So he seeked out training. Piccolo, the person that trained him originally, or at least helped him learn how to fight, wouldn't train him. Tien was nowhere to be found. Krillin is just Krillin. He didn't even bother. He didn't even know where to go for Krillin to be 100. And so eventually he stumbled upon Yamcha, and then they started training. But then his dad died. Like, he gave Trunks basically his whole backstory. And he's like, damn. And now we're in the present. He grabs his arm, his missing arm. I'm down an arm. I got a scar. And I'm currently the strongest defender. Well, shit, Yamcha. He just kind of thinks about Yamcha, which in retrospect, he thinks of Yamcha in such a great light, just because of the fact that Yamcha was so calm, so powerful, so strong. He basically how you would think of how Goku would think of his how Gohan would think of his dad in canon, but replace that with Yamcha. He still has respect for his dad, of course, but Yamcha was there for thick and thin. Because, Goku died, obviously. So he'd be like, all right, that's enough talking. Let's get some sleep. They take a bath, and they would take a bath reminiscent to how it was when Goku did it with Gohan originally. But this time, it's another parallel because Gohan and Yamcha did pretty much the same thing, just the roles are reversed. And Gohan is constantly laughing and saying, that's that bullshit. So they take the bath, they clean up, and Trunks is like, Gohan, do you think we'll actually be able to beat the androids? Yeah. So they continue training. That's literally it. Wake up, clean yourself, shit, do all that shit, train, nigga. Keep training. And their training's a lot brutal. It's almost like he's taking a couple of notes out of Piccolo's and Vegeta's book. Even though he technically didn't know them for that long, he knew them long enough, if you know what I mean. So he's taking a couple pages out of their book, remembering how Vegeta was fighting, just how much of a warrior he was. And Yamcha also taught Gohan how to fight without, you know, one of his eyes, without both of his eyes, how to fight with one of his arms, just in case he loses a limb or something if Yamcha falls in battle. And so with this being said, if I had to put a number to it, he probably would only lose like 10, maybe 5 power points, some shit like that. Just for the simple fact is he didn't lose much, in the sense of he already trained to be prepared for this potential outcome. All right. But it's a different arm. Like Yamcha lost the left, Gohan lost the right, something like that. That'll be important later. So now we got them fighting and shit, right? They're training. Just keep going. Boo, 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 boo. And Trunks got really accustomed to having Super Saiyan on, which his Super Saiyan on is, you know, it's on all the time, 24/7, no problem, no delays. And Gohan shows him the extended version. There's one version, he bulks up. I call this extended Super Saiyan. I didn't have, you know, I didn't have much choice since I was the only Saiyan or Super Saiyan. I had to make up a name for it. And everyone's like, I mean, not everyone, Trunks is like, okay. He's like, this is probably a tier up above that, but it's still a level higher. As he starts to bulk up, he's like, oh, why would you need any more power than that? That's literally enough to beat the androids. Gohan's like, all right, bet, Trunks. I know this is against what I said, but I want you to power down for me real quick. He's like, but do it. Trunks powers down. It takes him a minute because he's not used to being powered down. He powers down and he's like, okay. He shoots a ki blast, shoots it outwards. I want you to race me. He's like, okay, whatever. There's a chocolate bar. He's like, chocolate? We got chocolate? Where? I was looking. I didn't see. I mean, don't worry. I would have looked too if I was you. But simply put, if you're able to beat me in this race, I'll get you a chocolate bar. I had a couple hidden up way before we even came over here. Just in case, you know, I got a little sweet tooth sometimes, pointing to his teeth. And Trunks is like, all right, bet. He powers up in full power and base. It's like, all right, you promised, right? Yep. And I won't hold back. He's like, all right, because he knows Gohan won't hold back against him. I mean, obviously he won't kill him, but he won't hold back neither. So it begins. Ready, set, go. Pew, pew. They both blast off. Trunks, realizing he made it to the finish line first, he's like, I won. Wait a minute. And Gohan looks at him, walking up slowly behind him. Yup. I found this, let's just say this form is very strong, but what it lacks in speed, it makes up for strength. But that's a lot easier said when you're fighting 2 demon androids and they're both fighting you at once. You need any amount of speed that you can get. Oh, but don't worry. There's an actual form beyond this. I call this Super Saiyan 2, which I don't know if that would be the proper name for it, but I digress. And Trunks like, wait, what? Super Saiyan 2? You mean there's a whole nother level? And even if he didn't call it Super Saiyan, Ascended Super Saiyan, he would do what Yamcha did and just say Super Saiyan 0.5 or 0.15 or some shit like that, okay? So he's like, watch. Ha! Ha! And then, boo! He turns into Super Saiyan 2. And Trunks is like, oh my god, this power. And Gohan's like, I know. It's a lot of power, actually. This is why I've been only sparring with the androids ever so briefly, knowing they're going to keep me alive. It's more of a gamble, but this is also why I try not to fight with them too often. And since I had no one to lose, I had no reason to get angry. So he kind of kept this calm, like, composure while fighting the androids, just long enough to beat him. I mean, not beat him, but long enough to fight him. Try to get his Zenkai like, you know, Vegeta did back on Planet Namek. So he did that shit, and he showed him. He's like, yeah, but this form is very hard to control. I wanted you to get at least to my level, so when you're training by yourself, you'd at least be able to concentrate. And I wanted to save you some time on your shortcomings. Just because you're able to extend to the next level doesn't mean that it's going to be useful. And Trunks is like, okay, I got you. He doesn't even really power back up to Super Saiyan. He just exhales and he's back into it. And he's like, all right, now you're going to need to go do your own training for, let's say, 7 months, right? For the next 3 months, you're going to need to do some training on your own. And I'm going to go do some training on my own. Try not to wander he points to the entrance. Try not to wander too far from this point, though. I don't want you to get lost, and I'm not going to be there to save you. So Trunks is going to have his mental battle, and Gohan's going to get his training, but I'll continue that more on the next part.